Hi, it's David here, CEO and founder of the Freedom Founders Mastermind community. And because you know, I am all about freedom and freedom today in our lives and not later, not someday when we hopefully get to some retirement age, but building freedom in as we go. And of course, when we start out young in life and we have student debt, we're getting started in our career, our business, our practices. Yes, we have to work hard. We have to go hard at it. But the longer it takes to get to freedom or putting that day off in the future means that you live your life under constraints, compression, and that's no fun. And it doesn't do any good for you or your family. Remember, you may be okay paying a price, just like I was, working hard, doing everything I needed to do, or what I thought I needed to do. I was okay, but what was I doing about my family? What price were they paying? You know, I had the wake-up call when my daughter was sick several times, and finally had the liver transplant. That was my final wake-up call to jerk me out of my thinking about, well, everything I'm doing is important for the family. Well, if I'm not there, not spending time with my family, then what's it all for? And this is the lack of clarity and lack of specificity I find from so many people. I don't care what age, young, middle career, enders, that don't know how much they really need. And when I ask people for actual numbers, in fact, I was at a conference this past weekend, and a young doc, 41 years old, so probably hitting the prime of his earning capacity, right? Kids 12, 9, and 3. So got the spectrum there. And I asked him what are his goals, and well, he's merging a practice and doing sounds like some good things with his practice. So the practice model is working. And he said, I'd like to go from 4 days to 3. Okay, good, because that's time freedom. You get a model where you can do that. And then he asked me a kind of a strange question, at least strange for me. He said, David, do you think it's possible for someone at my age and where I'm at in life to get to $50 million in net worth assets? And I looked at him, I said, well, anything's possible. But I said, why that number? 50 million. It's a very straight across the board, a very even number, right? It's like there was no calculation put in that. It was obviously one of those throw it at the dartboard. And I hear this all the time when people say, well, when I say, how much do you really need to do what you want to do? Whether that's just have more time off or end up selling your practice someday, but how much do you need? Well, nobody knows. Your financial advisor doesn't know. They tell you just to keep working as long as you can work. And without specificity and knowing what you really need to live the life you want to live, you'll never get there. I mean, honestly, you'll never get there. Yeah, someday you will retire with whatever assets you have, but the journey is never fun. There's always tension. It's always stressful. Your kids grow up and they're gone and you're still stressed out. And then when you finally quote retire, and now you're still counting pennies and dollars because inflation's in front of us now and we don't know how much it'll take. Until you learn to get specific on what you need to replicate in income, your active income, to live with passive income, you'll never have the numbers right. Learning to replace your active income with asset-based income, whether it's your passive ownership in a business or my favorite is real estate, until you learn what that means and how to do that, you never get free. It's what we do in Freedom Founders. I show our members how to calculate those numbers and how to back in, reverse engineer so that they know exactly what they need. Now they have milestones to hit it. And you know what? Even before they get to freedom, pure financial freedom, it takes the weight off their shoulders because now they've got a plan that actually has mile metrics. They can measure it along the way. It changes everything. The financial world doesn't want you to know this. They want you to put all your money on Wall Street, abdicate to the 401ks, the tax deferral magic that they talk about, and it's totally wrong. You're playing into their game, and it's not a game that you're going to win. You've got to do something different with your life. You're hardworking. You went to school. You learn the technical skills. You do your trade, your profession. You do it well. But don't you want to know what the next step is? Because no one has it for you. I learned it the hard way. I learned it also with mentors and other people that taught me. And now we've created a community that has the collective wisdom that moves people from where they are today to where they really want to be, not in 10, 15, 20 years. No, we get it done in 3 to 5 years. But you have to be committed. You have to be intentional. You have to know what you want. And if you don't know, don't worry. That's what we help people do. Clarity and specificity are the keys to getting to your freedom. Talk to you soon.